A Dutch trading vessel battles through stormy waters as disease and desperation spread aboard. Navigation reveals the course heading toward Japan with dangerously low provisions and casualties mounting rapidly. Survival depends entirely on making landfall very soon. Political tensions rise rapidly as awareness grows about being trapped inside hostile territory with no exit. While some voices urge immediate departure, others recognize the vessel towing into harbor represents potential rescue for stranded foreigners aboard. Diplomatic negotiations grow more urgent and complex. Cultural and religious conflicts surface immediately when foreigners meet local authorities through translation, as accusations of piracy fly between Portuguese priests and Dutch sailors, questioning proceeds about the newcomers' true intentions, while strategic advantages receive careful consideration. Combat practice and politics continue developing separately. Uncertainty about the future drives strategic conversations between powerful lords who carefully calculate potential outcomes. When the foreign pilot travels under escort, an unexpected meeting with leadership offers potential opportunities, while cultural misunderstandings create volatile situations. Maritime combat erupts suddenly on the water. Mercy killings and survival decisions test everyone's limits as the journey grows more dangerous. When translation services become crucial for interrogations, questions of faith versus duty force difficult choices about where true loyalty lies. Cultural differences shape everything that unfolds clearly. Hours after contemplation begins about legacy, power dynamics shift throughout the castle as succession questions grow dramatically. Cultural barriers emerge when interpreters facilitate increasingly tense exchanges about critical political matters and strategic alliances between foreigners and local authorities. Leadership transitions accelerate under mounting external pressure. When religious divisions become apparent through translation, Protestant and Catholic theological conflicts rise into tense debates. Geographic knowledge spreads among officials, despite accusations that intensify increasingly intense discussions regarding foreign influence and dangerous ideological challenges confronting authorities. Strategic positioning grows rapidly around the visitor. Interrogations begin inside the prison facility as religious authorities confront the detained visitor about alleged atrocities. Heated arguments move forward over immediate execution demands, while Catholic representatives carefully strengthen their considerable influence throughout extended deliberations. Voting procedures approach despite major ongoing disagreements. The recovery team moves through hostile territory, given assassination orders targeting the foreigner who endures humiliation. Rescue operations unfold unexpectedly when armed intervention creates immediate opportunities for survival, and protective diplomatic arrangements appear despite major obstacles. Translation assistance begins under changed conditions. Cartographic displays reveal territorial claims as secret military installations, and Portuguese trade monopolies trigger discussions about power. Generous housing becomes available, yet underlying tensions persist between competing religious and political factions throughout the compound as mistrust deepens. Violence erupts suddenly, without warning. Political negotiations unfold as examination proceeds regarding territorial expansion and dangerous assassination threats while managing shifting alliances. Questions arise about sacred assassin societies offering deadly services, while trade monopolies face scrutiny as the Portuguese black ship readies urgent departure. Safety concerns cause urgent evacuation plans for tonight. As evacuation orders take effect, families brace for separation, sending loved ones towards safer territories beyond Osaka. Emotional farewells happen while samurai swords symbolize inherited duty as political tensions rise dramatically at castle gates where rival factions gather. Protocol disputes ignite between opposing forces immediately now. Throughout checkpoint operations, confrontations grow as clearance disputes delay departure, while cultural misunderstandings spark increasingly heated exchanges. Forest ambush reveals hidden conspiracies when deadly arrows target the convoy, exposing dangerous allegiances as this leadership becomes the primary tactical objective. Escape routes narrow toward the harbor under mounting pressure. When diplomatic talks collapse, the Portuguese black ship becomes leverage in rising struggles over lucrative China trade control. Naval confrontation grows as escape attempts provoke hostile blockade maneuvers, requiring dangerous navigation through threatening waters under constant, devastating artillery fire. Vessels break through the barriers, achieving freedom successfully. Political councils convene debating impeachment proceedings while messengers deliver critical decisions about future military operations and strategic alliances. New assignments emerge, including foreign tactical training responsibilities as conversations turn toward personal sacrifices and uncertain homecomings across vast, distant oceans. Swimming lessons begin building unexpected bonds today. Arrival brings a powerful lord and foreign guest to the village as political complications emerge throughout the day. Negotiations reveal duties, honors, and shifting strategic alliances, while discussions explain deeply uncertain political futures affecting everyone present. These critical decisions weigh heavily on everyone. As housing awaits inspection, detailed explanations clarify unexpected arrangements and surprisingly lengthy commitments lying ahead. Frustrations grow because misunderstandings multiply about ownership, freedom, and authority after previous agreements had seemed perfectly clear between parties. Meanwhile, strategic discussions move forward elsewhere about emerging opportunities. Despite widespread skepticism, training preparations develop using foreign methods and completely unfamiliar tactical approaches. When cannon demonstrations begin, remarkable accuracy surprises skeptical observers, while philosophical discussions simultaneously reveal much deeper strategic thinking about shared interests. Unexpected natural phenomena suddenly interrupt these important conversations. Throughout intensive training sessions, private concerns surface about persistent village unease and ongoing leadership challenges. Gift exchanges happen as meaningful gestures of respect, while understanding develops between different cultures despite major language and custom barriers. Strategic worries soon emerge about intelligence reaching hostile enemies. Evening conversations uncover personal philosophies and past tragedies, while cultural exchanges strengthen connections between different people. Memories about distant cities foster unexpected moments of genuine connection despite the major differences in language, customs, and cultural backgrounds. Impressive demonstrations happen, but conflicts rise very quickly. Power struggles erupt in the ruling council, while dealing with a dramatic return from Osaka proceeds rapidly. As debates grow over the vacant council seat and succession matters, competing factions maneuver for advantage, while strategic calculations shift continuously. Critical decisions loom about military command and political alliances. When household arrangements force unexpected cohabitation, cultural clashes create friction in the foreign visitor's residence. Meanwhile, questions surface about loyalty and past actions as relationships become increasingly strained under the new living conditions imposed from above by leadership. Strategic maneuvering continues behind these exchanges. Reunion brings awkwardness when the returned warrior joins the outsider's household for a shared meal that nobody wanted. As cultural differences clash during dinner conversation and demonstrations of skill, underlying conflicts simmer beneath formal courtesy and forced politeness. Personal histories and questions of honor become uncomfortable conversation points. Throughout the tense gathering, violent displays of authority grow through archery demonstrations and open intimidation. During the charged encounter, painful family history surfaces when a translator reveals the tragic story of her father's unjust execution. Honor and duty weigh heavily on all gathered witnesses. Arrival at the castle brings the entire group directly into controlled domain and authority under close watch. Throughout the palace corridors, confined guests gradually recognize their captivity status while debates proceed about alliances and loyalties. Strategic positioning becomes absolutely critical before confrontations. While funeral arrangements proceed for a fallen heir, political grief spreads throughout the domain after the tragic loss. Conversations reveal feelings about personal interactions cut short, while future security concerns drive urgent planning for the defense preparations ahead. Religious ceremony becomes the next pressing matter urgently. Conversations pivot toward political maneuvering when formal negotiations begin with calculated diplomatic precision. While religious affiliations and trade interests get discussed openly, underlying power struggles reveal themselves through chosen words and responses. Loyalties face immediate testing throughout the encounter. Defiance erupts forcefully when confinement orders are challenged through direct and vocal confrontation by resistors. As attempts to leave the castle begin, armed presence blocks exits while authority figures issue commands and warnings. Confrontation grows rapidly with every refusal throughout the standoff. The standoff grows dramatically when death becomes the declared alternative to forced imprisonment. Throughout the palace, solidarity gatherings occur while discussions reveal motivations rooted in past relationships and vengeance. Crisis threatens to destabilize Osaka entirely. Philosophical exchanges about duty and death precede the final spiritual preparations before irreversible action. When confession rituals occur and decisions become final, requests proceed for safe passage permits as violence approaches from outside. The night delivers both contemplation and chaos. Funeral ceremonies conclude for a fallen ally, while political dangers rise throughout the castle compound. During whispered exchanges and formal rites, threats emerge, growing more coordinated as enemies systematically attack leadership positions and key allies. Questions arise about loyalty and survival. War mobilization accelerates through formal council actions, as recent losses deepen friction. Religious authorities debate acceptable conduct and commitments made before death, yet underlying hostilities prevent reconciliation despite expressions of shared grief and mutual loss. Unexpected threats surface from hidden sources. Betrayal accusations trigger formal execution orders as confrontation proceeds regarding infiltration within trusted ranks. Intense confrontations about duty and honor unfold, while succession arrangements proceed carefully and ceremonial preparations move forward toward the appointed death. Outrage grows over destroyed vessels. Negotiation attempts fail completely when proposed surrender terms prove absolutely unacceptable to all parties. As final battle preparations accelerate across the region, intelligence gathering reveals the true scale of mobilization occurring. Strategic decisions made now will determine the future outcome entirely throughout. Private reflections about destiny and sacrifice guide final preparations before the climactic confrontation approaches. When tactical planning sessions conclude, positions solidify into their final defensive arrangements as dawn nears. The castle prepares for what comes next. Combat erupts with devastating ferocity as attacking forces surge forward against fortified defensive positions throughout the compound. Cannon fire exchanges intensify while close-quarters fighting spreads through corridors and courtyards with brutal efficiency. Casualties mount rapidly on all sides. Escape routes open temporarily when explosions create chaos among the attacking forces and defensive lines. Critical decisions about retreat versus holding positions force immediate choices without time for deliberation or consultation. The outcome hangs in precarious balance. Sacrifice and strategic brilliance combine when diversionary tactics draw enemy attention away from vulnerable positions. As fires spread throughout sections of the castle, evacuation efforts proceed under extreme pressure from multiple directions simultaneously. Final messages get delivered through trusted channels. Resolution approaches as the battle reaches its climax with devastating consequences for all participants. When silence finally descends over the bloodstained grounds, the cost becomes clear through the losses sustained. Victory and defeat blend together in complicated ways. Aftermath reveals the true scope of changes wrought by recent events as power structures shift dramatically. Political realignments proceed rapidly while memorial services honor those who fell during the conflict. The new order begins taking shape from the ruins. Philosophical discussions continue about the nature of power and duty as new responsibilities get distributed. When traditional ceremonies mark transitions, symbolic gestures carry deep meaning for all who understand the cultural significance involved. Strategic planning for the future accelerates. Recovery operations begin throughout the damaged areas as reconstruction planning moves forward. While assessing the full extent of changes, conversations turn toward maintaining stability during this transitional period. New alliances form based on recent demonstrations of loyalty. Trade negotiations resume under dramatically changed circumstances as commercial interests adapt to new political realities. Portuguese merchants recalculate their positions while other foreign interests seek advantage through the shifting landscape. Economic power balances begin realigning. Final arrangements conclude as departures prepare for those leaving, and new assignments take effect for those remaining. Farewells carry weight beyond simple goodbyes as understanding grows about the historical significance of recent events. The future opens with uncertainty. Reflection brings perspective as participants consider the journey from initial contact to current circumstances. Cultural exchanges that seemed impossible at the start have created unexpected bonds between former adversaries. Transformation has occurred on multiple levels. When official documents formalize the new arrangements, seal impressions carry the authority of established power. Historical records will preserve these decisions for future generations to study and interpret. Legacy becomes a conscious consideration. Journey preparations advance as travel routes get mapped and supplies gathered for the long voyage ahead. Maritime weather patterns require careful timing while political considerations add complexity to departure planning. Everything converges toward the moment of sailing. Training continues under changed conditions as new methods integrate with traditional practices, creating hybrid approaches. When demonstrations show the effectiveness of combined techniques, skepticism fades and acceptance grows. Innovation finds its place within tradition. Communication barriers diminish gradually as language skills improve through daily interaction and mutual effort. Understanding grows beyond mere words to encompass cultural nuances and unspoken meanings that deeper connection requires. Translation becomes less necessary over time. Strategic games continue at multiple levels as various factions position themselves for advantage in the evolving situation. Each move carries consequences that ripple through the complex web of relationships and obligations. Nothing is simple or straightforward.